What secrets is the leader of the animatronic crew and mascot of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza hiding? Welcome back, my fellow gamers. This is Top 10 Gaming and I'm your host, Amanda McKnight. Today we're here to answer that question and more as we learn more about the star Freddy and count down the top 10 scary Freddy theories. Ha ha ha! Let's get counting. Number 10. Handprint. If you haven't noticed before, there is a clear handprint on Freddy Fazbear's face that sits just over his right eye. It appears to have small fingers, making it seem as though either the person who left it there was someone with very stubby little digits, perhaps someone young, or perhaps some other animatronic. We don't really know who left the handprint, but it also was prominently featured on the design for Freddy and Help Wanted. Though here it was more indented, so it was really even more emphasized. Overall, I think it makes the most sense for this to be a handprint belonging to someone younger, but still based on the fact that this is a video game and hands and character designs can obviously be stylized or be different from, real life where we have a lot of parts to our fingers, it could belong to an older victim as well. Perhaps even someone like William Afton when he was disguised in another suit. Perhaps many years ago, Freddy as an animatronic was attempting to stop William? I don't know. What do you think? Number 9. Allergic to soap. Scary in a gross way. This is more of a general theory in regards to the original cast featured in the first Five Nights at Freddy's, but it definitely applies to Freddy too because of this. It seems as though Freddy and the crew have never been cleaned, like ever, since they went into service, and have likely never been serviced either, as the kids who went missing were never found. So, you'd have to actually do maintenance on them to find the kids, and they never found them, so you know what I'm saying. The evidence for this theory comes from something that Phone Guy says, stating on one of his recordings that he too would probably be in a bad mood if he hadn't had a bath in 20 years. This implies that the animatronics have seriously never been clean. Perhaps because doing so presumably causes damage to them. In fact, soap could be an effective tool used against the animatronics, now that I think about it, if you were thinking of doing harm to them. Just like wash them until they're destroyed. It is weird though, and pretty gross, that they haven't been cleaned or serviced in years. Even when I worked at a laser tag place, we cleaned and serviced our lasers and their packs regularly. And we actually used a special solution which would disinfect and clean without doing any damage to the inner workings of the lasers or the packs. Something I would suggest they invest in maybe at Freddy's. And friends, before we move on to the next part of this list, just a quick reminder to go down there and smash that like button. Every time you smash that like button, a new theory is uncovered somewhere. Is that a new FNAF theory I hear right now? Yeah, I feel like there was a few clicks. Number 8. Freddy killed Phone Guy. While we do hear Golden Freddy's jump scare at the end of the phone recording on night 4, we also hear Freddy's music, implying that Phone Guy ran out of power. It is possible that all animatronics were actually present at this time and that maybe we just didn't hear all of them, and that Freddy therefore also took part in ending Phone Guy. Otherwise, I would suggest that Golden Freddy at least didn't work alone, as Freddy was also there too. It would make sense that the two Freddys might team up to take down Phone Guy together, sharing in their victory over him. Which brings me to another point. Number 7. Shared consciousnesses? I guess we could say it that way too. What if all Freddys have a shared consciousness? A hive mind, if you will. The fact that they both make an appearance on the recording for night 4 where both can be heard could be used as evidence for this point. The message, "It's me," could actually have been misinterpreted by all of us and instead be Golden Freddy's attempt to let us know that the animatronic is actually also Freddy. Perhaps even Fredbear as well. Perhaps even Funtime Freddy. Perhaps even Glamrock Freddy. All the Freddys. If all Freddys shared a hive mind, what would this mean for what they know, or for their behavior overall throughout the games? How terrifying would it be if one Freddy was able to instantly know of your whereabouts based on another Freddy animatronic's findings? And also, yeah, I know this theory is kind of loose, doesn't have a lot of evidence, but it's a cool idea, so just come with me on this journey. It would be cool if the animatronics had some kind of hive mind. Number 6. Women's washroom. The significance of Freddy's ties to the women's washroom, where you can sometimes see him on the security cameras, is pretty eerie. Many, including Game Theory's MatPat, have drawn connections between the real-world killings that happened in a Chuck E. Cheese in Aurora, Colorado in 1993 to the game's lore and plot. All of the core animatronics from the first game seem to tie to one of the victims in their own way, and even the game itself, based on your earnings and hourly minimum wage rates, seems to be set in the early 90s. Freddy doesn't have as strong of a connection to the victim he's believed to represent, but his moving throughout the women's washroom is believed to be a loose tie to the female victim fans believe he could, in theory, represent. All in all, it's pretty creepy. Number 5. Freddy is behind the bite of 87. This one is pretty assured, I think. at this point. But also, there are multiple bites, and timelines are a bit, or well, a lot, unstable in the FNAF world. So also, maybe this isn't as confirmed as we all think it is. Who knows? Based on the cutscene we get in FNAF 4 where Crying Child attends the birthday party, it seems as though Freddy is behind that big bite, sinking his teeth into CC's head and in fact crushing it completely. I mean, I know they say that it was part of his brain, his frontal lobe, that was damaged, but I don't know. It looks to me like it was really the whole head there that got damaged. Youch. Which is also why I'm like, is this the same bite? Do we really know? I don't know. There is pretty solid evidence, obviously, to back this one up though. Although the timeline still remains something that really could be changed up at almost any point, as it's not quite as concrete throughout the games. I don't even, I mean, you know, we've talked about the timeline before, friends. You know how crazy it is. Number 4, Freddy is alive! What if we are wrong about the animatronics, or at least Freddy, and instead of being possessed by a spirit, he is in complete control because he is alive, and in fact, an artificial intelligence? What if Freddy is the leader of the crew who planted murderous intentions in their heads because he is capable of independent thought, so he can actually manipulate others and is truly pure evil? In fact, if Freddy were actually the one in control the whole time, the spirit within him would be even more trapped than the others because it would have zero control. I just also like the idea of like AIs coming to life and being like, ha ha ha, I will do harm to you. Number 3, Freddy is possessed. On the other hand, there is the more solid theory that Freddy is in fact possessed, like the other core crew, by one of the spirits of the missing kids. Of course, initially we didn't really know just which child it could be, but from what we learned in the first game surrounding the mystery of the missing kids, it's heavily implied that the animatronics are in fact possessed by their vengeful spirits, and likely were used as a final resting place for their bodies based on the foul odor and pus and blood that was found in and around the animatronics. We also get more evidence to support the spirit's existence and possession of said animatronics in the minigames featured in FNAF 3. Number 2, Gabriel. Gabriel is believed to be the victim whose spirit lives on and possesses Freddy. Remember when I was like, oh, we don't really know who it is? We kinda do know who it is, sort of, if you believe this theory to be true. Where do we get the name Gabriel? From the gravestones featured in FNAF 6, which seem to have a very particular layout and order on the screen that matches up with the ending screen that we see in FNAF 3, where the animatronics' heads also lay in a neat row, like the graves we are shown in FNAF 6. Fans believe the sequence of these two images are actually meant to match up, meaning that the first gravestone aligning with Freddy's head, also being the first, would be the name of the victim that possesses him, hence Gabriel, because that's what's on that tombstone, as you're probably reading because we probably showed you the image while I was talking about it. Editing. Yay. Number 1, Freddy corrupted William Afton. Going back to my previous theory surrounding Freddy being an AI who has come to life and is in full control, what if it was Freddy that was actually behind the killings? Perhaps Freddy was the one who drove William Afton mad, planting the seed in his mind and driving him to do it. After all, from what we know of William Afton, he doesn't really seem like someone who would have reason to go on a killing spree. He is a father who is the head of a seemingly successful restaurant chain, so there kind of has to be something that caused him to fly off the handle. At least, I think so. I mean, I guess people can just do that without reason, but I can't accept that in terms of the story. Perhaps it wasn't a personal tragedy that did so, but instead was one of his own dangerously ambitious creations. What are some of your favorite Freddy-based theories? Which theory do you think is the scariest? What other theories do you want us to dive into on the channel involving FNAF, or involving perhaps other games? Let us know in the comments below. And speaking of comments, it's time to turn to some comments from one of our latest videos, Top 10 Scary FNAF Alternate Versions of Scrap Trap. Kate comments, bro, these versions are so horrifying. By the way, awesome video. Thanks, bro. Songgal18 observes, most of the animatronics are trapped in an endless cycle of death and revival. Thanks, William Afton and Cassidy. And those people who want to wring out every last drop of Fazbear entertainment they can. I'm assuming you mean in the story and not on our channel, because we also, I feel like to wring out all of the Fazbear drops. All of the Freddy stuff. We're like just with a towel, it's full of Freddy Fazbears, and we're like, oh, wring it. What else? What other theories? But it's so lore rich. I mean, you could probably go on forever talking about it, to be real. Zane Multiply Kwai-chan writes, just a corpse in a suit? You say it like it's no big deal. I mean, at this point, it kind of is no big deal. I feel like I've gone to so many horrifying places through these games. A corpse in a suit is like one of the lightest things that's in there. Just a corpse in a suit. And that's all the time we have for comments today. Be sure to comment below for a chance to have your thoughts and feels shouted out in a future video. This has been Top 10 Gaming, and I'm your host Amanda McKnight, reminding you to keep on gaming on. Pew pew!